On the line is a woman who only wants to be identified as Grace. She says she fears that her loved ones in prison would be harassed if her name was revealed.
I've got this family member, and I've got to deal with this issue, but then on the other hand, I'm a taxpayer, and I was deceived.
Grace says she felt compelled to operate the Inside Georgia Prison's Facebook page, which advocates for inmates' rights.
Oh my God, we're spending all this money, and my family member just keeps getting worse.
Attorney McNeil Stokes says in some cases, not only have Georgia prisons lost their ability to rehabilitate, but punishment has gone too far.
So I get all these cards and letters coming in, and a lot of them say I got beaten up by the CERT teams. And at first I discounted it.
Then Stokes says he kept getting those messages, primarily from Rogers and Valdosta State prisons.
It wasn't just reactive, you call him some word and the guy hits him, but it was an organized sport.
Stokes says inmates claimed they were being beaten with leather gloves while handcuffed, and some put through what was called the Georgia motorcycle, where they were chained to chairs without food or water, or the ability to use the bathroom for 24 hours, and worse.
A thing was called the Georgia G-string, where they would chain people through their testicles. Just pure torture.
Stokes eventually ended up filing 44 lawsuits, some with multiple plaintiffs, against correctional emergency response team members in Georgia, related to incidents between 2003 and 2008. The suits were filed against those teams responsible for controlling unruly inmates, conducting shakedowns, and interviewing and interrogating offenders.
And these cases aren't all one. They're really, it's just a matter of filing suit and bring them to the forefront.
According to court documents, the majority of cases where plaintiffs claimed abuse were dismissed. A handful were decided in favor of the defendants by a jury, and several were settled. A 2015 U.S. Department of Justice press release does show some convictions were made related to CERT team abuses at Macon State Prison. Justice Department officials were quoted as saying 8 former corrections officers from Macon State Prison now have been sentenced for criminal conduct that range from beating inmates to obstructing our investigation. In addition to filing lawsuits, Stokes thought he'd reach out to the United Nations to make them aware of what he says to be human rights violations.
And even filed a complaint with the United Nations. Nothing ever came of it.
Documents which were released by WikiLeaks show that's not necessarily the case. It's from Geneva.
Geneva, yeah. That's where I sent it, yeah.
So we surprised Stokes with a cable verified through logs on the UN website.
This is a reply. I've never seen this before.
The documents show that the UN reached out to the United States in 2008 about the allegations of torture in the Georgia State prison system. The cable asked members of the federal government to respond to claims being made seemingly related to Stokes' complaints.
This is in response to my complaint. I didn't know it. I didn't hear anything back from them. But they talk about the abuses that I brought to their attention.
And a number of South Georgia prisons were listed on the correspondence.
People think this isn't their issue, but this is everyone's issue.
So we reached out to the Department of Corrections for a response. A GDC spokesperson refused to go on camera or answer our specific questions or allow us access to their facilities, but issued this statement. The GDC takes all allegations of abuse seriously, and any instances are investigated by the Office of Professional Standards. Any findings or misconduct are dealt with swiftly and can result in actions such as termination and criminal charges. That spokesperson also wrote in an email that the department had no information related to the United Nations request and was not able to comment on it. Grace says she wants the Department of Corrections to be more open about issues on the inside.
And nobody is going to hold them accountable. And we think we know why. The good old boy system in Georgia is still very much alive as well.
And if that infringes on the safety of inmates, it's something Stokes says he's prepared to fight and has become his calling.
I come from a long line of lawyers, and every year every generation we take on certain causes, and I guess it's my turn.